Imagine you're diving in the Mediterranean. The year is 1901. You're not an archaeologist or a scientist. You're a sponge diver. It's simple. Go down, grab sea sponges, come back up. But on this one particular dive, something strange appears out of the blue. Not a sponge, not coral, not even a fish. Instead, you see what looks like statues scattered across the ocean floor. Bronze statues. Marble statues. Ancient artifacts. You've just discovered a shipwreck. This wreck lay near the small Greek island of Antikythera, a rocky island between Crete and mainland Greece. And it had been sitting there untouched for nearly 2,000 years. The divers began bringing artifacts to the surface. Statues, jewelry, pottery. It looked like a Roman cargo ship carrying luxury goods across the Mediterranean. But among all those treasures, there was one object nobody paid much attention to at first. It looked like a lump of green corroded bronze. Honestly, it looked like a rock, a very ugly rock. And for months, it just sat there, ignored. Inside the bronze lump were gear teeth, tiny, precise, triangular teeth, like the gears in a clock. Except this object wasn't from the Middle Ages. It wasn't from the Renaissance. It was more than 2,000 years old. And that discovery would slowly reveal one of the most astonishing artifacts ever found. Today, we call it the Antikythera Mechanism. And some scientists describe it with a phrase that sounds almost ridiculous. The world as first computer. Now let's pause for a moment. Ancient Greece gave us philosophy, mathematics, democracy. But computers? That sounds like something out of science fiction. When most people imagine ancient technology, they picture stone tools, swords, maybe some clever aqueducts. But the Antikythera Mechanism is something entirely different. Because when scientists began studying it in detail, they discovered something incredible. The device contained more than 30 bronze gears. Not decorative gears. Functional gears. Interlocking, mathematical gears that work together like the inside of a mechanical clock. And here's the strange part. Mechanical clocks, like this, didn't appear in Europe until the 1300s. That's more than 1,000 years later. This means this machine existed centuries before historians believed this kind of engineering was even possible. And the first big one was simple: what exactly did this thing do? For decades, the fragments remained mysterious. Then, in the 1950s, researchers began using X-ray imaging. And suddenly the inside of the machine became visible. Hidden beneath centuries of corrosion were gears arranged in intricate systems. Each gear connected to another and another and another. When scientists began reconstructing the mechanism, they realized something fascinating. This device wasn't random machinery. It was designed to track the movements of the heavens, track the movement of planets, and follow astronomical cycles discovered by ancient Greek astronomers. In other words, the Antikythera Mechanism was essentially a mechanical model of the universe. You turned a small hand crank, and the gears moved the dials. The dials showed where celestial bodies would appear in the sky. It could even predict when eclipses would occur years in advance. Imagine holding a small wooden box, and inside that box, the entire cosmos moves. Not digitally, not electronically, but mechanically, 2,000 years ago. Now, here's where the mystery becomes even deeper. If ancient Greek engineers could build a machine this advanced, why don't we see more of them? Where are the others? Because archaeology has uncovered thousands of artifacts from the ancient Mediterranean. Statues, coins, weapons, tools. But devices like this? Only one has ever been found. Just one. This leads historians to an intriguing possibility. The Antikythera Mechanism may not be unique. When Greek mathematics and astronomy were incredibly advanced, this was the era of thinkers like Archimedes and Hipparchus, a time when scholars were studying planetary motion with remarkable accuracy. Some historians even speculate that similar machines may have existed in places like the Library of Alexandria. If such machines existed, and what survived may have been nothing more than this one machine resting at the bottom of the sea. Modern technology has helped us uncover even more secrets. Scientists have used CT scans to peer deep inside the fragments. These scans revealed hidden inscriptions engraved on the bronze plates, instructions, labels, explanations of how the dials worked. It turns out the device wasn't just functional. It was carefully documented. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just an experiment. It was a finished product, a tool. Maybe for teaching astronomy, maybe for navigation, maybe even for philosophical demonstrations of how the universe worked. We still don't know. But we do know this. Whoever built this device understood mechanical engineering at a level historians once thought impossible for the ancient world. So what does the Antikythera mechanism really represent? Is it evidence that ancient technology was more advanced than we thought? Possibly. Or it might represent something else entirely. Sometimes history isn't a straight line of progress. Sometimes knowledge appears, disappears, and then reappears centuries later. A reminder that the ancient world was filled with brilliant minds. People who studied the stars, calculated planetary cycles, and built machines to understand the universe. Machines so advanced that even today, they still surprise us. Because here's the humbling truth. For more than 1,000 years, humanity forgot how to build something like this. And it took a group of sponge divers accidentally stumbling across a shipwreck to remind us that sometimes the past is far more sophisticated than we imagine. And sometimes history's greatest discoveries are hiding in plain sight. Or, in this case, at the bottom of the sea. If you enjoy exploring mysteries like this, the lost knowledge, the unexplained artifacts, the secrets buried in ancient history, make sure to subscribe. Because the deeper we look into the past, the more questions we find. And sometimes, those questions change everything we thought we knew about civilization.